Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the CalPADS Q&A. Today is July 9th, 2025. My name is Paul Higgins. I'm a data analyst working at CSIS supporting CalPADS. All right, a few announcements as we get started. EOI is open. I hope this is not news to anyone. The recommended date for zero errors is this Friday, the 11th of July. So it's coming up this Friday. The certification deadline is the 25th, and that is 12 days away. The amendment window will begin on the 26th and go through the 8th, and that is intended for small corrections only. If you're still doing data population after the 25th, something has gone terribly wrong for you. So please aim for those dates. Zero errors this Friday, certified by the 25th, and the 26th through the 8th is just there as a comfort zone for you. Sean, I understand that you had a topic to talk about with DC extracts today.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. So for the DC extracts, we just want to provide this quick update for you. And then Matt has on the screen there that our next date is, our next scheduled run is not applicable, and it's due to this reasoning right now. So the CDE, we reviewed the direct cert extract on July 8th, and we identified errors. We are currently in contact with our California Department of Social Services and working on a resolution. Once that DC extract is available, we will ensure that the CalPADS homepage messages reflect the July 2025 file status for LEAs to be able to access. We thank you in advance for your patience as we work to get it resolved. And then I got one more, sorry.
I was just going to ask, are we going to put a message out via flash, letter to superintendents, directors, anything announcing that, so that way there's some sort of reference to it and everybody knows what's going on?
I actually have an update on that, Sean. We worked with them and they sent us a corrected file today, and the DBA says it looks good and should load tonight. So it should be
Good.
available tomorrow morning.
That's great. Angela, I saw ones at like 126. I just hadn't read them yet. So thank you for reading those. So that is wonderful. So Paul, no. To answer your question, yeah, we've been working diligently on this for like past 2 days. So yes, we were trying to get it up as soon as possible. We just couldn't state a date until just now. And then second announcement though is going to be for, oh man, I just lost it. It was in draft to Angela. Oh, please. Where are those draft messages go when you need them? Okay. So for it'll come to the CalPADS homepage in the very near future for migrant code 135. The regional PowerPoint has been updated in Box for slide 48. Originally, we thought that we would be able to get that 135 program auto closed out for all LEAs by early July. However, after we reviewed and you all are still updating your information, we paused and took a step back. Will we still auto close any LEAs that leave it open with that June 30th date? Yes, we will. However, when we are going to do that is clearly not going to be early July. We've pushed it back some in order for LEAs to be able to process and get through your EOI initial submissions, initial certifications for the 25th. So with that though, as soon as we do auto-populate that, we will communicate it out in the CalPADS Flash, and we're working to get the message that I just stated onto the CalPADS home screen.
Okie doke. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angela, did you have anything this week for the build? Any bug fixes, any fires that you've been putting out this week?
Well, we talked about direct cert already. That's happening some of you were getting the SCNR 317 validation error when you were uploading your SCNR file. That error was triggering incorrectly, so we turned it off. That was the second time we've had to turn it off, actually. So it should come back next week, hopefully working as it's supposed to. But if you had that error, go ahead and resend your file and it should clear. And then Matt's got the fixes that went in yesterday up on his screen. I think that was all I had today.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Matt, Alex, Gary, anybody on the team?
Don't forget about Dominic, Paul.
And Dominic, well, I just didn't want to make him angry. You don't want to call him out. He'll go off on you.
To catch 22, Paul.
He's pretty volatile.
If you don't call on me, I get angry. If you do call on me, I get angry. No. So we just sent out the last of the counts for the annual determination letters to SELPA, like the progress. And I wanted to say, you've all done an amazing job out in the field. We've reduced the counts by 80% of non-compliant timelines, which is fantastic. So you still have, a little less than a month to get those timelines corrected. Additionally, it included some information on your indicator 13. So if you have any questions on that or the timelines, send an email to spedddatasupport@cde.ca.gov and we can help with that.
Perfect. Thank you, Dominic. Angela, that did remind me. Do we have any open surveys for CSI or anything pending for CDE for surveys that are out there? Or have they all closed?
Nothing from client services at CSIS. Sean, do you have any outstanding from the CALPADS operations office?
You're on mute.
Did we lose her?
No, I'm here.
There you are.
Yeah, Paul was telling me I'm on mute. I missed the first part of it.
Paul was asking if we have any open surveys that we're waiting for people to fill out, and nothing from our department. Does CALPADS operations office have any outstanding surveys?
Not at this time. No, we don't.
Okay, just wanted to check. I knew we had a series of them open for the last couple of weeks, and I just didn't want to miss out on them.
I think everything closed last week, right? I think so. I'm gonna go with that.
All right, let's go with that. And with that, we will jump over to the Q&A box and start addressing questions. Starting with Susan at 3 p.m. Q1. Our organization has submitted the SBC Charter Reporting Status Change Form for CDS code 3776471 to be updated to 3710371. Previously, 9 schools were listed under the CDS code 3776471. We are sending clarification on whether all 9 schools will now be grouped under the new 3710371 in CALPADS, or if they will be separated into individual sections. Additionally, could you please let us know when we can expect the SBC Charter reporting status change to be reflected in CALPADS UI?
So this really isn't a CalPADS data support question, Susan. We're going to do my best to answer it. And if not, if you can follow up with an email to calpads@cde.ca.gov. And so to answer your initial question, will all of your schools be merged into one? No. And independent charter schools remain singular.
She's an SBC though, so it's a little bit different.
Never mind. Yeah, go ahead and put in an email, Susan, because I need to look at yours and see where it is in the process of it. But it's now SDCOE. Yeah, we just need to look at yours. And I see Kyron's typing something as well. Yeah, thank you, because I need to see where it is also in the process of being completed and what changes you all actually made on your form.
Perfect. And Kai, when you're done, just go ahead and close out that question for me, and I'll leave it open for you right now. Moving on to Adriana at 301. Q1, I am relatively new to CalPADS and have a question about uploading SPRG files. I understand that the SPRG file type uses transaction processing. However, my coworker believes we need to upload a full file each time we submit SPRG data. From what I've read, I believe that's not the case, but I'm not completely confident that, and there are far more knowledgeable people here. Can we upload an SPRG file with just 191 program records without it affecting any of the other existing data? Specifically, will the 191 records in the file be added or updated while the other SPRG records remain unchanged? Well, let me start out by saying your coworker's obviously been stung in the past, so a little bit gun shy on that. But you're right, the SPRG does use the transaction processing. And that means that it will not affect anything except for the data that you're putting in there. So if you're putting in only program 191 records and you're putting them up for a single school, that's all that's going up. And if existing program 191 records exist at that school, if this data interferes with that or contradicts it, you're going to get some errors. If it's exactly the same, it'll just ignore it. It'll pretend like it's overwriting. But yeah, you don't need a full file. Sometimes that's good just to be thorough. Your coworker, like I said, probably has gotten into trouble in the past by missing something. So they are expanding their selection criteria just to make sure that they don't miss anything this time. Both are valid strategies, but one is kind of I'm going to throw a blanket over the whole thing. The other is, I've got little piles all over the place, and I just have to make sure that all my little piles get accounted for. One's a little bit more labor intensive than the other.
And Matt, I'm not sure where it is or if it's even in the user manual, but in the CFS, so she could go find that somewhere if she forgets, or in the Word version, we have the operational key.
Actually, it's in both, but the Word version talks about, yeah, if you scroll farther to the right,
you can see it.
there.
I'm pulling up the Word version now, but I think we have a.
You can see it in column 4 right now, or row 4. Transaction type R replaced in the operational key as SSID School of Attendance. Row 4 under comments. Yep. The last line in the comments.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
transactions are, got it.
The education program code is part of the operational key. So that means that exactly what Paul said, that you can send those up distinctly. They don't have to be all inclusive of all your other programs.
But I do agree with Angela, the CFS Word document makes it very clear.
It does.
It's in the user manual too. I put the link on the chat.
I was looking for it, Alex, but I couldn't find it. So thank you.
It's not in the SPRG page.
I appreciate you guys giving Adriana so much support. She's one of mine.
All right, moving on to Julie 301 Q1. For Sunbucks, who do we have on for CDE? We got Sean. Is Paula here? Nope. All right, Sean, get ready. For Sunbucks, if I understand correctly, the pull for from CALPADS does not include students under age 6 or over age 18. Is that just for direct cert, or does that also mean for migrant, homeless, and foster? If we want those students included, which column on the EDCS upload do we include them under?
Does anybody have the table, the workaround? And there you go, the how to upload. Thank you. And do we have the instructions there? Nope.
We have the Sunbucks collection instructions.
Yes. Thank you. So, Julie, this is how you this is how you upload the information, but I'm not sure I fully understand your question though, because you're asking about direct cert. and or for migrant, homeless, and foster, you don't upload direct cert into the Sunbucks collection. So I think that's where I got lost in the question.
He may be using direct cert as an analog for streamlined certified.
But that's where it's saying those have already been.
There will
So step
be
one right there, it's saying that they're already been, so you don't have to do that.
direct certified students that are not eligible for streamlined certification.
That's the
Uh,
extended
yeah,
benefit, though, and stuff.
no, direct certification students younger than 6 and older than 18 are not going to be streamlined certified.
So locally direct cert, not state. So yes, if they're locally direct cert, then yes, they would upload that information. But if they're state certified, then it's already in the DC file.
I think Nate, that might be exactly the population she's looking at. She's looking for students under 6 or over 18.
So yeah, so you would send those up, and then these are the steps in which it's telling you. And I believe that answers your question best. And can somebody copy that link?
Yeah, I'll throw it in chat.
Thank you so kindly.
Alrighty, moving on. Asia 301 Q1. Question in regard to order of certification. EOI 3 is first to be certified. EOI 4 is second, preferably on the same revision as EOI 3. And what is the order of 1 and 2? And Matt is pulling up the order of certification right there. So we have, I can't read it, it's too small. Oh, thank you, Matt. All right, so I don't.
It looks like our guidance is primarily regarding the the 3 and 4 end of year submissions.
No, at the top, the CDE recommends order of certification is 3 and 4 together. Yeah, right there.
Then 2 and 1. Yeah, prior to this new guidance, we recommended 2 first. So I'm not surprised that it comes after the 3 and 4.
All right, so there you go. 3, 4 together on the same revision, and then 2 and 1. And if you can swing those on the same revision, all the better. All right, we got that one. All right, Susan 304. Oh, actually, that's your Q2, Susan. I'll come back to you. Anna at 307 Q1. Q1 regarding the removal of SPED service location code 570 charter school and the guidance to use 510 regular classroom public day school instead. Is this also the same code for public charter schools offering independent study? These are students not in a regular quote unquote classroom.
I would suggest whatever code you might use for independent study at a quote unquote regular school, elementary, junior high, high school would apply. So if you're using 570 for students and independent study at a charter school, I think 510 would apply.
All right, straight from Dominic. You can rely on that.
Well, thank you.
All right, moving on to Claudia. Q1, could you please repeat first announcement? My first announcement was end of year is open. Recommended date for 0 errors is the 11th, which is this Friday. Certification deadline is the 25th, which is only 12 days away. And the amendment window will begin on the 26th, ending on the 8th, and that is intended for minor corrections only. So everything should be done by the 25th, and you should be error-free by this Friday, and that is under our ideal or our time, or what are they called? Milestones. Thank you. All right. Let's see.
It looks like she's asking to repeat
Oh.
Angela's first announcement now.
Oh, all right. Angela, what do you got?
We talked about direct cert, that it's going to be available, the July file is going to be available tomorrow. Fingers crossed. It's been a rough one. And then that the yesterday's fixes are in the system, and Matt's got them up on his screen right now.
All righty. All right, Anna, see your Q2. We'll come back to you. Natasha, 311, Q1. What can we use for CDS codes for a student attending an out-of-state NPS school? Can we use the generic 9s? I meant the NPS school attendance codes, not CDS codes. Sorry. My understanding is that NPS sites all have to apply to be authorized sites through CDE, and the master list is maintained. Oh goodness, I know I have it, but I don't.
I have the link handy. I'll pop it in the answer.
Oh, thank you so much.
And
it
there are out-of-state NPS schools listed there.
Yes, and they all go through the application process, and their status is listed in that workbook, showing them as applied, approved, expired, whatever their status is. And they have to be active and approved to be in the drop downs in CALPADS. So if they allow themselves to lapse and no longer be valid, then they're taken out of that pool. At that point, your only option is to use the all 9s, and the all 9s just make everybody angry because now you're sending students off to an unknown place, and all accountability questions now become intentional acts. You can't just look at a report and go, oh, they're here, they're there, they do this. Now you actually have to go and look for that school out of state and go find all your answers there. So obviously it is preferred that you find an authorized, approved school and use that one. If the school you want to go to is not approved, encourage them to go through that application process in an expedited fashion so we can actually get the data into CALPADS and have accurate tracking of the student. Dominic, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay. And Angela, okay, you just posted it and close that out. Thank you.
So you'll find that under the answers tab.
Got it. All right. Lethea, 315 Q1. Hi, Lethea. I submitted a ticket 324082 on 7/3, but have not heard a response yet. I have 3 fatals showing up for fall 2 in the process of fixing. End of year. Error is SAS 695F2 to be exact. I'm not really sure how to fix this, so any guidance would be appreciated. Thanks.
I can leave that one as a ticket. Lethea, you entered it in a holiday. And sadly, we probably got a little backed up.
Looks like Nate has that ticket.
Yeah, this was like, but then they responded today, so it got, when he's looking at his dates, I know it often happens to me, that it looks like we responded, or it moves from the in progress kind of thing. The customer responded, and you're like, oh, okay, gotta go back.
And I think we're probably prioritizing EOI tickets over fall 1 and fall 2 tickets. But Nate, if you could get back to Lethea.
Sure.
All right, moving down to Chris at 319. Q1, we have a student with an original ELAS of EO from 2015. The student was then reported EL in 2017 by another district and later RFEP by our district in 2022. They are transferring to a new LEA and the school is requesting that the EL and RFEP records be removed and the original EO be kept. Is this correct? To remove these records if the student was tested and determined to be EL and later RFEP. I'm going to bet that there's a bunch of people on this call who are just chomping at the bit to answer this question in the most aggressive possible way. The answer is if they have been referred for testing, been tested, been established as an EL, later RFEP, that shows a longitudinal progression through the EL program that is correct. So no, you should not remove those just to eliminate the later complications behind an EO record, which would require absolutely no maintenance for the entire 12 years. So no, do not remove those since you have obviously documentation, proof, evidence showing that they were referred, tested all the way through. So no, don't remove that data.
Absolutely correct.
And I just, while you were talking, Paul, I pulled up the valid code combination just to see if we even allow them to use a correction reason correct code in that scenario, and we don't. So that bolsters your argument as well.
We got you covered on all sides there, Chris. All right. Going down to Nadine at 319 Q1. What CDS code can we use for a K through 5 student in long-term independent study?
That's gonna be an
What?
LEA question. What CDS code has your LEA generated or requested? So, that's gonna be an internal LEA question that you want to contact your certificated admin. That typically like your Opus director, that section out schools.
All righty. Let's go do that. All right, circling back to Susan's 304 Q2. Where can I find guidance on updating a SIMP replacement file to address the missing parent guardian highest education level code and guardian name related to the SENR 0453E3? I never uploaded replacement files, so I'm unsure how to without creating more issues. All right, so Matt's pulling up the error. All right, so replacement processing has always been a little bit wonky, squishy around the edges, inconsistent at times. So depending on what you want to do, what I'm assuming you just want to either edit, add, or in some way interact with those parent guardian name and education fields. So you have options. Depending on how much effort you want to put into this, you could go the full route, pull the SIMP extract, knowing which file or records you want to deal with because of the error, focus them out in that extract, make sure that it's formatted for upload, edit to reflect everything you want, and show it as a replace transaction. I believe, and please, Angela, analysts, correct me on this, the replace transaction requires the R on the new data and then the reference to the existing record as just the blank one. Is that correct? So it's 2 entries in per replacement transaction,
I
correct?
don't think we allow that anymore since file submission, but I would take the lazy route personally. As long as you have the most recent SIMP record, it has the data populated correctly, and the effective date is before July 1, 2025, the error will clear. So that means you don't have to go back and correct all of those. Just make sure you have the one with the most recent effective date is accurate. Otherwise, I was going to recommend that you probably want to talk to your SIS vendor support team if you do want to go back and correct the historical records. They'll be able to walk you through what it needs to look like on your end to pull that data out accurately.
Work smarter, not harder. Angela's way.
That we fully believe in.
Always. All right, moving on to Anna's Q2 at 311. Q2, if the incorrect meeting delay 90 late without cause is applied to a meeting held late, making it non-compliant, does that have any bearing on EOI 4? Should it be corrected? Does the LEA have to have the LEA disapprove end of year 4, fix it, then LEA approve a new revision, or can it wait until EOI is in the bag?
Delay codes and timelines and the like have no bearing or interaction with end of year reporting, so you can definitely leave this until after the amendment window.
Perfect. Thank you, Dominic. Marie, 330 Q1. When will the stats file layout be updated to include the 13.24 attendance recovery days for 25-26? Is it during the CALPADS rollover? Generally, the rollover process is extended across end of year because we can't roll everything over on July 1st because end of year is still in process. So we have to wait for end of year to end, make sure everything is finalized, then we go back in and we do the file template modifications, the updates to new school codes, all the things that really had to wait until after end of year. So you can expect, let me pull up the calendar again, sometime after 8/8, or I'm sorry, yeah, August 8th, we will start getting into the active rollover activities where you see the new codes, the new file templates, that kind of thing.
But Marie's also a vendor with Aries, so they have this information already. So the vendors aren't being delayed in their processing because they have to be able to test and everything. So it's there for you, Marie. If you need it, either contact Jan or Desmond for the vendor inbox.
All righty, closing that out. Moving on to Bavita at 332 Q1. Tagging on to Marie's question, will we get a flash or communication of all changes going into effect during the September rollover? I believe we did a synopsis in a flash, last year. I don't know if one was planned this year, but it is a good suggestion that we will take into account, definitely.
Plan for each year, Paul. It's called the rollover flash. And that's when basically the updates and the changes come. Typically, we have one for fall 1 and fall 2. And then to your point, we have one for end of year for specific changes. So yes, it's historical for us, Bavita, that flash comes out.
Yep, and we also send one to the superintendents as well, so they know what you're up to.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, moving down to 333, Kathy, Q1. For students that attended with us in the 24-25 and have new enrollment records for the first day of school in the 25-26 and have decided not to continue with our district, how does that information get communicated to CALPADS? Do we update and change the already populated 24-25 exit coding? I believe that we have a flash out there that says if you do the pre-enrollments and they've never been with you before, you can just go ahead and eliminate that record. Otherwise, you need to go through a SARB and do an E140. I think since we're still well before the start date, if you know they're not showing up, you can eliminate that pre-enrollment, change the exit code for the 24-25 to reflect, T160, or if they're leaving the state or whatever it is, so long as you have the documentation to support it. And then that would eliminate any SARBs or weirdness that has to happen if they don't show up on the first day of class and they're not new to you.
No one happens to know the number of that flash off the top of your heads, do you?
It's in the FAQs. I know that much. I don't recall the flash of it, but I know it's in the FAQs.
It's like 138 or 132, something like that. It's also in the user manual. I know Kyron put it up there.
Yeah.
It's in the roadmap. Is that the attendance?
The SARB and when to exit the kid?
Yes, it's in the EOI roadmap. Under communications.
All right, so all the flashes, 132?
At the
From there.
bottom.
Yeah. There you go.
132
All the
or
way at the
134?
bottom.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Kyron.
See, so I have been paying attention for more than just the last 5 minutes. I've been paying attention for years if I can pull this one out, right?
I
Marshall,
think
whenever
years is a pretty accurate estimation for flashes going this far back.
Yeah,
we're gonna
17 at least.
that one, Marshall, we're gonna be like, anytime we tell Paul he's late to something, he's like, but I do flash 132.
All the way back to 2017. All right. Going over to 339, Charlene, Q1. Our end of year 2 and end of year 1 reached error-free status and reports were reviewed in mid-June. If we certify end of year 3 and 4 by 7/25, can we certify 1 and 2 with the earlier revisions? It shouldn't make a difference, but if you've locked those revisions, so you're in review uncertified on those, check your revised certifications. Make sure, or the revised uncertifieds. If they still match, it's not going to do you any harm to certify the later version either. And then that would keep you in the good graces of CDE's desires to do 3, 4, 1, 2 on subsequent ones. But if you just certified that earlier one and it was all correct and all of the populations are still the same, you should be okay.
This is going to get a lot easier when we condense the EOIs.
Now, Matt, you are one of the most optimistic men I know. You are looking, you've got a kind of a ballistic trajectory on your vision there. You're looking over all that work that's got to happen and all the problems going to happen in between. And you're seeing that clear field on the other side going, that's a pretty field over there. That's going to be awesome.
Yes. You got to have a high arc. You got to aim.
With Paul, I'm like, I'm right that way, right with Paul. That's what it's like that.
Paul, did we miss a question? It looks like it got moved over to the answer tab, Kathy at 333, but I was typing, so maybe you answered it and I didn't hear it.
I will check. Hold on. You said 333.
Yeah.
333, Kathy. Okay, Kathy, Q1 for students that attended with us into the funeral.
Yeah, that was the 132 flash.
Yeah, that was the 132 flash.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was typing for Susan, so sorry about that.
No, better to check. All right, we are now 3:41, have no open questions. Did we have any topics we wanted to cover? I have a small one, and it's just a pet peeve. If you're submitting a service desk ticket and you're asking about that one last warning you have, and I open up your data discrepancy screen and I see 300 fatals still sitting there, my first thought is priorities. Priorities, people. Work on the fatals, then move on to the warnings. Warnings are going to be accepted regardless. Yes, you want to look at them, you want to be comfortable with them, but your fatals are what's going to keep you in trouble. So work on your fatals first. Okay, let's see. Oh, hi, Jerry. 341 Q1. Hey, Mr. Higgins, being a fan of the old classic TV show Magnum PI, I had to call you out on Higgins on this one time. If only I had the Zeus and Apollo Dobermans flanking me right now, or the Ferrari, whichever. I have a question regarding diploma holds. We tend to run into this issue regularly and have become more challenging in recent history due to the inability to re-enroll a graduate. I understand the concept behind this. It makes sense that we can't re-enroll a graduate. However, when when a student receives an exit date in CALPADS with the E23100 and then go on to a charter school for one more course they need, we have no way of putting up that enrollment, which then prevents the course from ever being submitted to the CRSC, SCSE files. Won't this eventually have a negative impact on the CCGI in the sense that not all courses will be in CALPADS due to these diploma hold situations?
Angela, who are you channeling right now with this question?
This is a Randy question.
Yes, it is. This is I'm sorry, I didn't know who asked the question. I know it's a vendor.
Jerry.
It's
Yeah.
Jerry Donaldson.
Yeah, Jerry, go ahead and submit that question to, is it Dash? No, not Dashboard, that's Kim. DataQuest? Is it DataQuest, Angela?
You want to just put it in through the CALPADS service desk and we'll send it all up to you?
No, I think it's DRO. DRO at cde.ca.gov.
All right, Jerry, take care of, get a ticket in there and they'll get you an answer. Hopefully it's a good one.
I wouldn't promise that.
Eva at 342, Q1. Hello, I see that my welcome screen tab's certification status is blank. This is where typically I see double check, or this is typically where I double check that I was certified. Where did that update go and will it be coming back?
So Matt, you're logged in as a state level user, so that's never available to us, but I just tried it. I logged in as ABC Unified where I have all rights and it wasn't there. So you're not alone, Eva. If you want to put in a ticket, I will ask for me and I'll send it up as a defect for you. I don't know what happened to those records.
Oh man, we got a bug, Angela.
Not a bug?
Okay, thank you.
No, no, I said I think it is a bug, yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay. No bueno.
Yeah, I don't know where they went. They used to be listed there.
All right, Eva, put that ticket in place.
What's that?
Nothing. I was just saying, please put that ticket in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Moving on to Kristen 343. I have a follow-up question to Nadine's. It's the course code, not CDS. We're using 1,000 self-contained for TK through 5th grade students. Is this correct for long-term independent students?
Yes. You can use it for TK through 5. Yes, you can use it unless you're LEA. No, it's 5 and up if they want to do the departmentalized courses. But that's up to your LEA. But to answer your question, Kristen, is that correct for TK through 5? Yes.
And there we go. All right, moving on to Madison 343 Q1. Apologies, I was late joining. Were there any important announcements that I happened to miss? Suggested 0 errors for end of year is this Friday. The certification deadline is the 25th. DC extracts should hopefully be available tomorrow. And I think, what else do we have? Anything fun? No, that's about it.
I think so.
Okay. Michelle 345, looking at the last regional PowerPoint on CTE for 25-26, will we be reporting CTE students as completers in SCTE based on the CA guide, the California guidance or the federal guidance?
Well, that's going to go to CTE. And I'm putting theirs in the chat. That's going to go to the CTE program office, Michelle. your question, if they're making any changes. So as far as CalPADS knows, we don't have any for 25-26, but that specific question will be best answered by the CTE program office.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
My pleasure.
Javier, 347 Q1. When a student ages out of SPED services, would the EOI exit code be E125 or should it be an E230? It should be the E125, assuming that you exited them as an E230 120 coming out of grade 12 initially. You had them enrolled as grade 12s all through the transition, exiting them as E156 when it was available, E155 before that. Then when they're reaching that final termination, when they're going to be separating forever, then you hit them with the E125. And if you have a specific scenario that you're uncertain about, go ahead and put in a service desk ticket and we'll confirm it for you. And all right, we are now 3:49 with no questions in the Q&A box. So I had my little pet peeve. Does anybody else have a pet peeve they want to talk about?
What was your pet peeve?
Warnings before fatals.
Oh, sorry. I missed
Yeah.
that. I heard Dom's. I missed yours.
And Kristen sends, thank you. You're welcome. All right. Well, I'm not seeing anything coming in. Oh, wait a minute. Chris came back with the Q2. Hold on. What is the student's absence summary and not student attendance summary? The file doesn't just track absences.
I think I can take a stab at that. When we first came up with that file layout, we were really concerned about people thinking CalPADS was now going to be the source for ADA. And so we were really shy about using that word attendance. And so we came up with absence summary instead. Because CalPADS does not collect ADA. We do not answer ADA questions.
It's
And
also the source for chronic absenteeism for the dashboard.
That's true. Good point, Nate.
Yes.
And anybody who has actually asked me a STAS question and gotten a STAS answer back, it's usually prefaced with, hey, just so you know, CalPADS isn't used to calculate ADA. Any ADA questions should be referred to the ADA office. Always prefaced. Just
I think there was some legislation that I heard recently. I don't know where it is, but where CalPADS would be the source someday. But I thought to myself, I'll have to retire before that happens because I don't want to learn all those ADA rules.
I agree, Angela. You're going to need to take me with you. And to Paul's point, like, yes, I have a script already written out that says, please note, CalPADS data reporting does not collect average student attendance. And then it directs you. I'm like, PADC.
All right, we got another question from Javier, 351. Clarification. So while the student is in transition, the exit code at the end of the year should be E155. Would this be prior to the E156? So yes, when you enter in a student who's in transition, they're always going to be grade 12 primary with the 1.34 field populated as yes. Every year that you expect them to come back, you exit them as E156. And the E156 wasn't introduced until last year, so you probably have a bunch of kids who have E155s in there because that used to be used for the grade 12 as well. Now it's E156.
If he's referencing Flash 132, the E156 definitely wasn't there.
There you go. All righty. All right.
Kristen Bittler, I found something in the data guide addressing your question about the self-contained class. for your independent study. So I posted that under your question and the answer tab. I want to grab that.
Thank you, Angela, because I didn't know where that lived.
All right, everybody. I think that I can safely give you about 7 minutes of your life back. I appreciate you being here. Always a good time. Always learn something new. If you have a question or a problem before the next Q&A, open a service desk ticket as soon as possible so we can get back to you as quickly as we can. Remember, this Friday, 0 fatal errors. That's your goal. The service desk has just been flooded this week. So just anticipate that you're probably going to get some shorter answers than you might usually because we are flooded and we are trying to get everybody an answer as quickly as possible. So please bear with us. And you all have a great week.